Hey y'all, it's Katie. Welcome back to From My Vanity. I promise my lipstick isn't quite so neon and my eyes aren't quite so, they're pretty bright, but I feel like they're pretty popping on camera. I actually have to keep my resolution, or not my resolution, it's my ISO. I think it's my ISO, the thing that really brightens. I have to keep it down a little bit because if I actually brighten it up so that I don't look so dark and like in the dark, I will look like I have just like white lips and eyes, and I don't like it. Anyway, so I have to keep it this way. It is super cloudy out, but I actually really wanted to record this video today, and I figured since we're just talking about makeup, it's okay if the coloring is a little or a lot off. But anyway, getting back on track, I am doing a collab video with my friend Amy from DollyMamaBeauty here on YouTube. I have done a collab with her in the past, so go ahead and throw it up here in the cards. And then I also mentioned her in my, I think it was like 10 small YouTubers you should be watching video. I can have that and also have our collab video. I'll have both of those linked down below in my description box if you want to check out those videos. So yeah, we've collabed in the past. She's a really sweet person, and if you like, my highest recommendation, or at least the one that I enjoy watching personally from her the most, is her Juvia's Jumble series, and I just love to see what kind of look she'll create with the Juvia's Place palettes because I really like those palettes. So definitely check those videos out if you want a recommendation from me. But anyway, she reached out to me and asked if I wanted to do this. I think it's just called the Drugstore, Indie, or High-End makeup tag. It's like out of those three, we're going to go through each category of our makeup and which one do we tend to buy the most from, which is our preference when we're talking about primers, when we're talking about foundations. What do we tend to like to buy? Do we buy from Indie? Do we buy from Drugstore? Or do we buy high-end? So I thought that was a really neat idea, and it sounded just like a fun, laid-back video. So I kind of went through and listed all the, at least the categories of makeup that I step into when it comes to doing my makeup routine. I wrote them all down, and then I tried to pick Indie, Drugstore, or high-end, which one that I purchase from and prefer to buy from the most. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it and start talking about some makeup. Let's jump into face primers first, and I picked Drugstore because I have two primers that I can think of. They are from Rimmel and from No. 7, and both of those primers focus more on mattifying and keeping your face matte. And both of those primers, I feel like I can most easily see a drastic difference if I wear it or if I don't. A lot of primers in my collection is kind of like, I think it helps, or yeah, it helps, make my pores look blurred, but then 4 hours later, my foundation just like slides right off. Those, different types of primers, I have a harder time seeing if they're actually worth the purchase and the money, but those two from No. 7 and Rimmel, I feel like I can actually see a difference. They're Drugstore, they're very affordable, and I can tell that they kind of keep my oils at bay and just keep me matte for longer throughout the day, so I have to give it to Drugstore. Okay, so moving on to foundations, I picked high-end for this because the two foundations that I think of when I think about my favorites are Estee Lauder's Double Wear and Urban Decay's Naked Skin. Those are just the two foundations that stand out amidst all my collection. Yes, I have a lot of favorites, both high-end and Drugstore. I don't think I have any indie brands, but high-end and Drugstore, I have a lot of favorites, a lot of pretty darn good foundations that I enjoy, but I feel like overall, the products that tend to kind of grab my attention and become favorites are the high-end. Oh, also, Makeup Forever's Matte Velvet. Oh yes, that's a fantastic foundation. I totally forgot about it till now. I need to grab that in my next Shop My Stash because I kind of miss it, and I just remember totally enjoying it in December, so I need to reach back for it. So those are the three foundations that I can just think back with such fond memories. That would be my pick, so definitely high-end. Like I said, I do like some Drugstore, but there's just something about that high end. I guess I'm willing to kind of pay for a little bit more if it lasts longer and looks better on my oily skin. But yeah, high end. Concealer, now I don't have a ton of favorite concealers. Like I have a couple that I really do enjoy, but I think stand out in my mind as just being so easy and creaseless when it comes to my under eyes. It would have to be the Urban Decay Naked Skin. I just feel like that's such an easy concealer to put on, and almost any type of setting powder that I wear works well with it. Yes, there is occasional ones that I find that I still crease with, but overall, like, it's pretty darn creaseless no matter what I do, no matter what I do throughout the day, no matter what I put on top of it. I'm always impressed by the Urban Decay Naked Skin. I do like some other Drugstore ones. I feel like two that I can think of is the Maybelline Fit Me and the Milani, no, it's not, Conceal and Define. The Milani one in the squishy tube with the sponge on top of it, that one. Those two I really do like, but I feel like the Urban Decay is just like a little step up because it gives a little more coverage but still stays lightweight. in my mind and from my personal experience. Okay, next is under eye setting powder, and I made this different from just like powder for all over my face because there's definitely a difference depending on the type of powder you put under your eyes, how your concealer will work, at least in my experience. And that one's definitely Drugstore because my holy grail, my favorite, is the number 7 Perfect Light Pressed Powder. I do not have it in my collection right now because I did finish up my original one, but I am so looking forward to when I can go and purchase another one. And I don't know when that's going to be because I keep saying like, Kitty, you have a ton in your drawer right now. You don't need to go buy another one, but I really do miss it. And yeah, I have very fond memories of it and can't wait to have it back in my collection. So definitely Drugstore. Next up, for powder foundation and any kind of like setting powder for my face, I also picked Drugstore because I really like the Maybelline Fit Me, both the pressed and the loose version. And there's also another line of Maybelline's pressed powder foundations I really like as well for setting my face. So I just feel like Maybelline really hits it there with me when it comes to setting my liquid foundation. So I've got to give it to the Drugstore. Moving on to bronzer and contour, I'm also going to do Drugstore for this one because while there are definitely some high-end bronzers and contour type of products that I really do like, because I think I've one like from Laura Geller and like the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil, but I really like the butter bronzer from Physicians Formula, and I really like the new Milani Silky Matte Bronzer that just came out I tried it like last month. I have been loving that one, so impressed with it. I would have to say Drugstore. Moving on to blush, I was actually kind of surprised, but I thought about the blushes that are such favorites of mine, I'm always going back for, and the two that I could think of right off the top of my head was Sigma's blush and the Glow Skin Beauty's blush. And as far as I know, those two are independently owned, so I'm going to say indie for blush, which kind of surprised me, but yeah, those are my two favorite blushes. I'm always reaching back for them and pulling them back into my Shop My Stash, you know, my drawers for the month. They're just tried and true blushes I don't have to think about. I like the pigmentation I can get off of them. I feel like they last really well on my skin throughout the day. So yeah, independent. I was surprised. So moving on to highlighter, I have to kind of say high-end, and this was like high-end slash indie. It's because I really love my Ofra highlighters, which I believe are indie, but I also really like my Lorac Cosmetics, which is Lorac independent? I don't think Lorac. Let me know. Now that I'm thinking about it, they might be an indie brand. But then I also like Pixie, and in my mind, Pixie's more of a high-end brand. I know they kind of like say they're drugstore, but their prices are pretty high, so that's why I was kind of just saying for highlighter, my choice would be high-end because all of those highlighters are fairly expensive. But now I'm kind of doubting myself because I know Ofra is an indie brand. Is Lorac and Pixie? They might be. Let me know. Okay, so let's go on to lipstick and then we'll go up to the eyes. For lipstick, like a regular lipstick, I picked Drugstore because I really like the lipsticks that I get from Rimmel. I really like NYX's lipsticks. I really like Maybelline's lipsticks. I just feel like in general, when it comes to the regular bullet lipstick, I have so many and I have bought so many over the years from the Drugstore that I think are fantastic and perform really well. They don't last all day, but I can get a bunch of them. They look nice. I can just reapply them. I'm fine. So if I had to pick, I would say Drugstore. Moving on to liquid lipstick, I picked high-end for that one because you guys know liquid lipsticks is where my heart is, and I love the Smashbox Always On liquid lipsticks. I love the Pixie's liquid lipsticks. Again, I kind of consider them more high-end. I love Huda Beauty's liquid lipsticks. Those are fantastic. What else? I have a lot that I own back there. It's in that little, oh, can I do this? In that stack right there. Smashbox, I really like their liquid lipsticks. I also like Lime Crime for the comfortability factor. Those are really nice. So definitely when it comes to liquid lipsticks, I tend to pay the high-end price tag. Okay, so now let's move on up to our eyes and do brows. So the product that I prefer to use to fill my brows is some type of pencil, and I would say Drugstore for that, especially since I'm not someone who likes to mess with my brows. I don't want anything too expensive because I don't care to get like a chiseled, amazingly immaculate eyebrow, and I don't need a lot of work to get the eyebrow that I like because I have pretty full brows. So my favorite eyebrow pencil at the moment is the Eyeliner brow pencil. It's quick, it's easy, it stays in. I have no issues with it kind of smearing off or anything, and I feel like it fills my brows in just fine. So that's my favorite, and honestly, if I didn't have that, I would just go to the Drugstore and find another really good one because like I just said, like I'm not that into my brows that I want to pay the high-end price tag for like a nicer product because I could care less what my brows look like as long as my foundation and my eye makeup is looking good. My brows are definitely the afterthought when it comes to my makeup routine. So eyebrow gel is kind of the same story here. I have tried so many from the Drugstore, and I think I will just continue to cycle through Drugstore unless I can find some kind of amazing product from high-end Drugstore, whatever, that does a really good job of actually holding my brow hairs down. I'm trying the new one from Urban Decay, what is it called? I forget. It's got the primer and the like the mascara, brow mascara side. I'm trying that one to see if I can find something, because the one thing that aggravates me when it comes to my brows is, especially as they kind of grow out and before I can get them trimmed, my brow hairs here, which is where it's the longest, will often like turn down and just be all sorts of crazy, and I think it's just my lashes kind of hitting them, especially on this side because it's more hooded. But anyway, they're always kind of going every which way by the end of the night, and I want to find a brow mascara that actually like cements them down. I know a lot of people say they don't like the crunchy brows, but I want the crunchy brows because I want my brows to like hairspray down. That's what I want. And I have yet to find one, like a really good one from the drugstore. I've tried the one from Maybelline, from L'Oreal. Right now I have a Milani one. I've tried the Essence one. Have I tried the Ulta Beauty one? I can't remember. I think I have. So I've tried a bunch. If you know of a good hairspray type of brow gel, let me know. Tinted preferred, because that's great for the lazy days when I don't even want to fill in my brows, but any kind of brow gel. Okay, so moving on to the eyes. Eyeshadow primer is high-end because you guys know my all-time holy grail is Lorac Cosmetics Behind the Scenes Eyeshadow Primer. That's my all-time favorite. I don't think I'll ever not have one in my drawer just because I love it so much. I also really enjoy the Smashbox 24-hour eyeshadow primer. That one works really great too, so it was an easy pick for me. I definitely go high-end when it comes to my eyeshadow primer. Eye concealer slash base. I put this because both of the eyeshadow primers that I feel like I can tell the most difference and that does the most help to keeping my eyeshadows looking good are clear eyeshadow primers. So I still like to go on top with some kind of concealer base just to give me kind of like a blank canvas and help the shadows and the colors stand out more. So that's kind of why I put this extra one. But that one is also drugstore because I think my favorite one right now is Makeup Revolution's Conceal and Define Concealer. That just blends so nicely. It stays pretty full coverage on my eyelid, and I just find that blending things on top of it, I never have any issues. The answer is definitely drugstore. Then moving on to my favorite category, it is eyeshadow palettes, and this one has to be indie brands because my favorite when I'm thinking about all the ones that I've tried recently that I absolutely loved, Juvia's Place, Menagerie Cosmetics, Blush Tribe, Maybe Cosmetics, they make such phenomenal eyeshadow palettes and they are so good, so colorful. The pigmentation is there, the blendability is there. So yes, this one was very easy for me. But yeah, indie brands is where it's at. If you're looking for colorful eyeshadows that pack a punch even when like blended out and put on the lid and they don't like dull down or like, you know, look sheer or anything like that. I've had such a good experience with indie brands. Glitter glue. I put this one on because I have to have some type of glitter glue if I'm ever using anything intensely foiled or metallic on my eyes or, you know, glitter. So I use a glitter glue pretty darn regularly. So that's why I added it into this video. But for me, I would say indie for this one because I absolutely love the NBA Cosmetics. I think it's like Foil FX liner. It's like their glitter glue. It's a liquid, a clear liquid. It's very easy to just kind of like tap a little on your finger and then tap it all over your lid. It's very wet, so I just always like look down and wait till it dries and gets tacky, and then it's easy to know when it's ready because it'll kind of dry out and get tacky and then you can just pop it back on, or if you're working with glitter you might want it a little wet, that kind of thing. But yeah, that one is phenomenal and is definitely my favorite. I just feel like it does such a good job and it's so inexpensive. Okay, just a couple more. Liquid liner. I would say drugstore and indie a little bit. And the reason I said indie is because I haven't been able to do a wing for like the past 2-3 months, whenever I first got it, without my Vamp stamp. It makes it so easy that I cannot imagine myself never having the Vamp stamp in my makeup routine, at least as long as I'm liking to do wing liner. So I definitely have to say the Vamp stamp is a staple, and that is, as far as I know, an indie brand. But when it comes to actually like the liquid liner that I use to like connect it and all that stuff, my favorite is drugstore because NYX Cosmetics Matte Liquid Liner is my favorite. I love how matte it is. I love how pigmented it is. I love how easy it is to apply. I love how, you know, clean and crisp you can get with that tiny little brush. It's amazing. It's my favorite. So definitely drugstore when we're talking about the actual like liquid, you know, the black liquid that I need, and then the Vamp stamp because I need that easy wing. Next up is gel liner, and this I'm thinking of is specifically for my waterline. And I would have to say high-end because I absolutely love the Smashbox Always On gel liners. Those are so nice. I really did enjoy the pigmentation and the staying powder of the power of the ColourPop's gel liners, and I think I'm going to give them another try. I've been thinking about it because Annette's Makeup Corner always talks and raves about them, and they look so pretty. But the two that I got for them dried out like shortly after a year of buying them, which is kind of a bummer. because I don't use them that often, so I feel like it's a little bit of a waste. Whereas with my Smashbox gel liners, those you have to sharpen them, so I feel like if it ever gets a little dry at the tip, I just sharpen it down and it's like a brand new liner. Whereas the ColourPop's, it's retractable, so I feel like the whole thing just dried out a lot faster, if any of that made sense. So anyway, all that to say, I have to give it to Smashbox Always On because they stay in my waterline like no other. And then last up, mascara. Ooh, should I do lashes? I didn't even think about that. We'll answer this and then I'll tell you if I've decided. Mascara, so that would have to be Drugstore because I am definitely that girl that I feel like Drugstore is just as good as high-end, and I have loved, like, one of the high-end mascaras that I can think of that I really did love and enjoy is the Benefit Roller Lash, but I recently tried the Flower Beauty Lash Warrior mascara, and that I feel like does the exact same thing. Sure, they're a little bit different, but not enough for me to spend that much money on it. And then I've enjoyed so many other Maybelline mascaras, like the Maybelline The Rocket Volume Mascara. Love that one. So definitely when it comes to mascara, I feel like the Drugstore, for me, I don't want to pay the high-end price tag, so Drugstore is where it's at. And we'll just go ahead and do lashes. So for lashes, I'm going to say Indie because I have fallen in love and I'm just really enjoying magnetic lashes when used with a magnetic liner. It just makes life so much easier for me having very watery eyes. Whenever I would use the glue, I would have issues of like popping up or my eyes watering from the glue and coming off then. And as I've been exploring more magnetic lashes, using them with the magnetic liner that I got from Moxie lashes, I feel like a whole world has opened up because I can wear lashes from 10 a.m. in the morning till like 9 p.m. at night and they don't go anywhere, and that's just amazing. I have to give it to Indie because the Moxie lash liner, whole new world. And then their eyelashes, I've been experimenting with them. I'm gonna have a full review coming in my monthly makeup review for March. I have some thoughts on that, and I definitely want to continue to try out more lashes and more magnetic lashes. Like right now I have some on from Kiss, but that liner, I need that. Like, I can't do magnetic lashes with the two. That liner has, or this one right here, has changed the game for me, and I really do love them. So for lashes, I have to say Indie. And there you have it. Those are all my picks for Drugstore, high-end, Indie, or Indie, Drugstore, high-end. I don't even know the order. But anyway, those are all my answers and my picks. I was trying to kind of see long distance. I had more Indie in there than I thought I did because I thought when I initially was going to do, like, sit down and write out my answers, I thought the only Indie would be for palettes. But there was actually a couple others, like 3 or 4. I was surprised. Let me know for yourself what you would answer these categories. If you tend to buy high-end Drugstore or Indie for specific areas in your makeup routine, I'd love to hear your answers down below. And thank you so much to Amy for doing this collab video with me. Make sure you go and watch her video. I'll have that video linked down below, or I'll link to her channel where you can click through and find her video. But anyway, thank you, Amy, for collaborating with me. And if you're coming over from Amy's channel, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed watching me chase the light as I record this video. Anyway, with all that said, I think that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye, guys.